Now we are going to discuss how to use these tools. When we are drawing, we're going to be talking more and more throughout this instruction on setting up our isometrics and our multi-view drawings. We draw what is called box construction. So I'm going to show you using the tools how we'd set that box up, how we utilize the tools to get an end product. These will be used as we get into the multi-view aspect of the isometrics as well. So what I'm looking at here is my ruler. To start my drawing, I am going to use my 2H pencil, which is the one that is a little bit harder, and I am going to draw a very, very light line. I'm not going to go extremely specific. We'll just do a 2" by 2" by 2" box. We always look at 3 different directions that we draw. We are going to be looking at our height, which is right here. That is my vertical line. I would also draw another line as a reference across the bottom. That I will do with my triangle. I can set that up. I can line it up on my line. I'm going to put it right at the corner here. This is just to make my drawing relatively straight. So there I have my 2 lines. I know they're very hard to see. I will be darkening them in. Down the road you will find that these very light lines are referred to as construction lines. So I would set up, I have my 2" vertical line, I have a reference line here to use my triangles. I am then going to go off at a 30-degree angle, which is what we use for isometrics. And I would set that in here. I would go off at my 30-degree angle. And I could go in and actually measure this now and mark it at my 2 inches using my ruler. And then I would put in another vertical line. Again, I have that line on the bottom as a reference to keep everything nice and straight. If we were using a drafting board, we would be able to use what is called a T-square that we don't really use in this class. Because as we get going and talk about paper types and everything, we will be utilizing graph paper, so it is not necessary. So here I'm going to end up using my triangle again to do a straight line. On this one I'm going to mark my vertical 2 inches, and then I can just draw from point to point. So this is just giving you an idea of how we utilize the triangle along with our lead holder or pencil to start drawing our isometric drawing. So I would go off in this direction as well, up. I would complete the box. Now I'm going to just go over these with my slightly darker pencil. I'm going to freehand this just to get them dark enough to see. When we do our sketching and our drawings, we do not ever freehand anything. We always use tools. That way we get nice straight lines, because as you may or may not be able to notice in here, those lines get a little bit crooked, a little bit sketchy. So that is using the triangle, using the lead holder or pencil, and using the ruler. So now if I were to put in a circle on this to make it look correct, I could go in with my template and I would set this up. There are reference lines on here to get this at the correct angle, and I would set up and just follow my circle in my template, and that is how I would place a circle on my object. Now on the erasing end of things, we use our eraser to erase any of our construction lines. What you're seeing are object lines once they're darkened in. I can erase that line obviously with my eraser. When I get really close to an object, this is where my erasing shield comes in. I can take my erasing shield, set it on, and just cover my line. That way I can erase in between here and get really, really close, and then clean up the rest of my line out here. That allows me to get really, really, really nice sharp edges by utilizing this tool. So there's some examples of how we use the different tools to create our drawings.